Yes, it might be the most recognizable theme song in podcast history. The Husker Doc Talk Podcast for week 13 of 2025 is here. If you are watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button to this channel. Help our channel grow. Give this video a like. You can also start leaving your comments in the comment section. If you are listening on the podcast channels, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, you name it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that download. And you have us coming into your phone each and every week. I'm Travis Justice. This may be the shortest Doc Talk podcast we do in a while. Last week we went about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. But I think I wore your voice out last week, Dr. Rob.
Dude, I lost it. It's gone.
It is gone. You were at Augustana yesterday. Were you just screaming and yelling for Ryan as they were beating up on Concordia of St. Paul?
There was a little bit, but I don't know. I think it's combination of allergies or something. It's gone.
You're not contagious, though, are you? Am I going to get this? Because if I lose my voice, I'm screwed. I do a radio show every day.
You were safe.
Okay.
I feel great. I just over the last 3 days, it was gone.
Your wife probably likes it because you're not talking as much.
That was hurtful.
Yeah, it was hurtful, but I know women. And your wife is celebrating. She's doing a little dance going, yeah, Dr. Rob's not talking.
Killing me.
Because when you start talking, you don't shut up. Let's be honest.
Owen's over there laughing.
Yeah, see, because Owen even got that joke. I told him after he left last week, I go, Dr. Rob had 7 beers last week, and you've already got 2 in your hand now. You just walk in, you make yourself feel right at home, which you should, because this is like a second home to you. You went straight to the fridge. Just straight to the fridge. I love it.
I need 1 or 2 during the podcast.
And then 2 or 3 after the podcast.
I don't know if I had 7.
Yo, you did.
I'm pretty sure I didn't have 7.
There was 8 cans we threw out because I actually had my first beer in a year and a half last week. So we threw 8 cans out. I had 1. 8 minus 1 is 7.
I think you're mathing wrong.
No, I'm not mathing wrong.
I did not have 7 beers.
You did. And a couple of them were 16 ounces, man. We got really good beer in the fridge right
2.
now. Well, you got 2 now, yeah. You're drinking one of those zip lines. You got the West Coast IPA.
Gonna try that.
And what else do you got there?
This is it sounded like it'd be good for my throat. It's a raspberry lemon crumble fruited sour.
Oh, you went with a sour.
Wandering Monster Brewery.
Out of California, I believe.
I think it's a Cali beer.
Yeah. Lizzie was over here. That's Owen's girlfriend yesterday. She goes, does Dr. Rob like these sweet beers? I'm like, you like the sours.
I do like the sours.
Yeah. I like the sours. I'm a big sour guy.
No, I like the sours.
But I'll give you credit. You got me to drink a beer last week, my first in a year and a half, and it tasted really good. It tasted good. I had one of those new Glarus from Steve Swanstrom from Centris Federal Credit Union last week.
How many beers have you had in the last year?
One beer, and that was sitting here after the podcast last week with you. I know. It's been really, really hard. Now, ask me how much tequila I have drank or how much vodka I had. I felt like Nicolas Cage in Leaving Las Vegas the other day because I went to the grocery store. My wife's gone. She's in Mississippi, watching the grandchild. And I went to Baker's, and I'm just going through there, and I went through the liquor aisle, and I picked up the cheapest 5th of vodka I could find. I'm like, I think I'll have a vodka soda tonight. So I literally didn't get Grey Goose. I got some non-labeled 3 times distilled
plastic jug.
It's plastic. Absolutely plastic. And I'm like, nothing says you might have a drinking problem than plastic jug vodka. But once you mix it with the soda water, can you really taste the difference between Tito's and Grey Goose or Sky?
I don't drink enough liquor to know.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah. And that's fair. That's totally understandable. Nebraska beat Maryland, but we're not going to start with Nebraska over Maryland. We are going to start with the biggest news of the day, and that is James Franklin is out at Penn State. 3 weeks ago, Penn State was contending for the national championship. They were...
Even after that game against Oregon, we're still sitting here going okay, well, these guys still could be second, third in the Big Ten, in the top 12, going to the playoff.
You mentioned last week, and I thought it was a very good observation, is that did Oregon beat Penn State twice. And I might say now, did Oregon beat Penn State 3 times in a row? And that is head-to-head when they went to UCLA and then at home against Northwestern. And that's what happened. Penn State lost at home to Northwestern as James Franklin was walking off the field yesterday in Happy Valley. The fired Franklin chants were going. And this morning, we're recording this podcast on a Sunday. James Franklin was fired. He is getting a buyout, Rob, of almost $50 million. It's the second largest buyout in college football history, second only to Jimbo Fisher. So I don't ever want to hear these programs saying there's no money around, because there's plenty of money around.
Well, and all of a sudden you look at Nebraska with $15 million for Frost. I mean, that's like pennies.
Seems like a bargain compared to $47, $48, $49 million.
Well, and I've been sitting here talking about, like, man, I don't see how Wisconsin fires Luke Fickell, because his buyout's half that. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking $25 million. There's no way they fire Fickell. They're going to try and eke this out for another year. And right now, I guarantee you, Wisconsin's going, all right, look at Wisconsin's schedule going forward.
They're screwed.
Yeah, it only gets tougher, which even Penn State, I'm not sure how Penn State gets through this year without 5 losses at least.
And well, now that Aller's gone, their quarterback, you might be right on that. I mean, Wisconsin got shut out by Iowa 37-0. Listen, Iowa's a good team. It's not a great team. And Luke Fickell said last night after the game, it can't get any lower than that. Oh, just hold on. Your schedule is going to dictate whether that gets lower or not. But you bring up the fact that he's owed $25 million if he gets fired. This probably puts pressure on Wisconsin, right? I mean, Penn State goes, hey, listen, you've lost 3 in a row. We've come up with $47 million. You're out of here. And the reason this becomes big, and we would talk about a coach getting fired regardless, right? But Matt Rhule is like number 1 on the Penn State list. If you go to ESPN.com, you go to CBSSports.com, you go to SI.com, they go, who's going to be the next at Penn State? And number 1 on that list is Matt Rhule, for good reason. He is a Penn State graduate.
Well, Scott Frost was a Nebraska graduate.
Well, it doesn't always work out. You're 100% right.
And the other thing is that you got to keep in mind with Rhule is that he has now 3 different college programs. He's got a 3-program track record of not being a win right now guy. He's a win in year 3 guy. And I mean, we're hoping this year at Nebraska, this is going to be a 8, 9, 10 win season. And I mean, if it is, that just kind of holds with what his model's always been. So my question is, if you're Penn State, if you're Penn State fans, if you're Penn State alumni and boosters, do you want a guy whose track record is that he'll pay dividends 3 years down the road?
I think you're going to have to be that way now, because you might as well assume
Curt Cignetti.
But is Curt Cignetti? Is Dan Lanning? Are you better off leaving Oregon for Penn State? I only bring that up because,
and I'm not saying Lanning's leaving Oregon, which I think it'd be freaking nuts to leave Oregon. I'm just saying there's guys out there who can win now and have shown they've got the capability to win now.
There's no guarantee that a guy like Curt Cignetti, who's worked his magic at Indiana and going to Oregon on Saturday and winning was one of the most impressive things I've seen. There's no reason to think that he can duplicate the magic. And that will be the expectation, is duplicating that magic. Curt Cignetti has ruined it for like every college coach coming into a new program, right? Because if you can do it at Indiana like instantly, everybody's going to be like, well, why can't you do it right now here? Cignetti did it. He just happened to have lightning in a bottle. I mean, that's what happened with Curt Cignetti. Curt Cignetti's name's been thrown out there.
Lightning in 2 bottles. This is year 2, and he's doing it again.
Yeah, which is
with the new quarterback,
which is absolutely incredible. But does it make sense? I mean, right now Matt Rhule holds all the cards. He's sitting there with a full house, baby, because let's say Penn State isn't interested. That's going home. You're an alum. You played there, all sorts of things. But he's got Nebraska by the balls because Troy Dannon does not want to lose Matt Rhule. Things are going in the right direction. The publicity that Nebraska's getting, whether you like Matt Rhule's podcast and the content that he's producing, it's brilliant on his part. I really do believe it's brilliant. It's good exposure for Nebraska. It's good exposure for Matt Rhule. He's got Nebraska by the balls, and he can squeeze as tight as he wants right now.
No, and I totally agree. And I don't know if that's a bad thing. I guess I'm kind of okay with that if we hold on to him. I mean, I do like Rhule. I like the direction we're going. I think he's a guy that can go and. I mean, I guess here's my question: is Rhule going to get you a national title? Is he going to be a national semifinalist kind of guy, or is he going to be a guy who's more like, hey, I'm going to get you to that 9-10 win a year mark, and we're going to stay there most years, and once every 5 or 10 years, I'm going to punch out a 12-win season.
I think in college football today, Rob, I think that's the motto for most every team. I think we are seeing more parity. And yesterday, again, we're recording this on Sunday. Saturday was a crazy day.
Yeah, it was not just Penn State losing to Northwestern.
No, it was UCLA winning. It was Indiana winning at Oregon. I think, and Lane Kiffin said it, I think last week, the days of dynasties may be over because of the transfer portal, because of NIL. I think what you should expect now, 9-10 wins a year, and then every 4, 5, 6 years, you have that 12-win season.
Punch out that really good year, which I'd be ecstatic with that. Nebraska has twice now, within the last 20, 25 years, fired 9-10 win a year coaches. Did it with Solich, they did it with Pelini. Both times I thought it was a mistake. Part of me is kind of looking at Penn State going, are you guys making a mistake?
Well, it's the knee-jerk reaction. Let's not forget, he hasn't been James Franklin has some baggage. Remember, he was doing some stuff with the Docs where he came away totally unscathed from basically, I'm trying to remember correctly, but there was he got taken to court and they found that he's like, hey, move these guys along through medical protocol. He came through that unscathed. I would say he probably is not the nicest guy in the world, the most pleasant guy in the world. But if Nebraska is, if Troy Dannon's going, okay, we got to renegotiate a contract, which he's going to have to. I mean, you're going to have to pony up and pay Matt Rhule if you want to keep him, $10, 11, $12 million a year. But what I don't want to see happen is what happened with Scott Frost or what's happened with James Franklin, is that you become basically beholden to these coaches to where if it doesn't work out, you owe them millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. Big buyouts are not in the best interest of a university for cases like this. $50 million? Are you kidding me? $50 million? That's winning the fucking lottery, man.
It is, but at the same time, I mean, God, that was like boom. They pulled the trigger and it was done.
Yes,
which also tells me they had that sitting around.
So, and that's why I said, don't ever cry poor anymore, because I do not cry poor. Any university, if you want them, if somebody's willing to pay for it, it's out there. I mean, I'm not saying that Purdue has the resources. I'm not saying Minnesota does, but a school like Nebraska has plenty of resources. A school like Penn State has plenty of resources, and Ohio State has plenty of resources. I'm just saying, when you have somebody so tight to where if they're even thinking about getting rid of you, they go, oh, but do we have the money to do it? Obviously, Penn State does, but I mean, Jimbo Fisher got over $70 million to get fired from Texas A&M. Over $70 million.
Honestly, I think that's pocket change for A&M.
Well, you might be right with that. What's a better job, Nebraska or Penn State? And I am being dead serious here.
That's a good question, because I got to go look and see who it was on Twitter, because I was looking at some of the more recent posts in response to a couple of comments. I'm not going to find it now, but somebody had made the comment that, here we go. Our guy Steve, I can't say his full handle on Twitter. It's pretty good. Anyway, Steve made the point. He goes, Franklin fired after a 3-game skid. We lost 5 of 6 last year at Nebraska. And everybody's like,
hey, we got to a bowl game.
Hey, we got to a bowl game. It's fine. So in regards to so I guess what I'm going back to, one of these things, when you ask me that question, is it a good job?
Well, Penn State's a great job. I'm just asking which is better.
My point, though, is that there's a lot of schools around the country. Nebraska's one of them. Great money, great infrastructure,
great fan base
support, etc. It's all brand recognition. I mean, for smaller Midwestern university, I say smaller within the scope of
true
Power 4 schools. I mean, compared to like in Ohio State, the thing that when you ask me that question, that makes me think, okay, is this or is this not a good job? What I start thinking about is pressure. Alabama's a great job until you start thinking about pressure.
I mean, Kalen DeBoer is already, I mean, he's what, 5-1, 6-1, and he's still like, well, you lost to Florida State. You might be on the way out.
Yeah. So I mean, all of those SEC schools, well, I mean, like Ole Miss, we talked about, thinking about it, like, there's a great job. If you go to Ole Miss and do pretty good, you're a legend in their minds.
Lane Kiffin is a legend.
And if I'm Lane Kiffin, I never leave. I stay there. I spout off on social media. He's like the new pirate, basically. He's a great social media follow.
That's a good way to put it. He has kind of taken over Mike Leach.
He really has. I mean, I used to hate Kiffin. Now I love the guy. And it's not because he's winning, which he is. It's just he kind of speaks his mind, and a lot of the time he is so spot on. But that's a good job. If you want to compare Nebraska and Penn State Penn State probably has a better recruiting base. That entire Ohio Valley is like amazing.
True.
For churning out athletes. It's a good job until you start thinking about the pressure. And I mean, I think as much pressure as there is to win at Nebraska, I think there's far less than there is at Penn State. So I think Nebraska's a better job.
I wouldn't disagree with you. I get the alumni thing, and he, I mean, on his podcast, he openly talks about Penn State and his time there. But I wouldn't say that Penn State is a better job than Nebraska by any means. You're right. The pressure will be there. What I don't like is that he's going to be forced into a corner now for the rest of the season, unless Penn State makes a hire, which I doubt they do until the end of the season. He's going to be asked about it all the time. And if you say, hey, if you come out and say, I'm 100% committed to Nebraska, well, those words could come back to use against you, all sorts of things that aren't fair to him as the season starts going along. I mean, it's not, because what's he going to come out and say? Sure, I'm not. What he needs to say is, I'm the head coach of Nebraska, and that's what I'm focused on. I mean, if I'm sure headhunters call you all the time. Hey, we've got an anesthesiologist job open in Florida. We got one open in Georgia. We got one open somewhere, and you have to say, okay, what's the offer? So. It is part of the business. I get headhunters to call me, and I'm like, not really interested in moving to Oregon. Sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's different with football coaches, though. I mean, I don't think those guys ever... I don't know if they see any one place as home.
They're nomads. I mean, they all they want to do is put themselves in the best position to make the most money they can, and where can they have the best chance to win a national title. Matt Rhule has to ask himself, can I win a national title easier at Nebraska, or can I win one easier at Penn State? Because both ways, you got to go through Ohio State, you got to go through Michigan.
Yeah, I don't know if you're in a conference like the SEC or the Big Ten, I don't know if there's there's schools within those, but I mean, if you're at like a Purdue, if you're at
a Minnesota, if you're at Iowa, I mean,
it's going to be a lot tougher. But if you're at a Nebraska, where people are going to be like, yeah, we'll give you the resources to get there. That's what we want. Then I think you're in a good spot as far as doing that. I mean, if we were Purdue and Matt Rhule was our coach, yeah, I'd be worried. I don't know if Purdue's going to throw them the resources at the program to gun for a national title.
Yeah, I mean, resources at Nebraska is not an issue at all. Now, I know he wants a grass field. That stadium needs to get redone in some way, and they're redoing Happy Valley, I think, as we speak. But again, there's a lot to come down to it. The names that have been thrown out there, and you're going to hear a ton of names. It's all bullshit because all it is the pretty people who think they know college football going, well, it's going to be this guy. Well, Matt Rhule, because of his connection to Penn State, was number one on the list. Curt Cignetti, because of the success he's had at Penn State, Indiana is number 2. Matt Campbell was number 3. Matt Campbell might be the most logical one there. He's been at Iowa State, 8-9 years now, consistently won at Iowa State, even though they got beat by Colorado.
He's probably, I think he's topped out what he can do there.
I would agree with you. I mean, it's like, okay, what more can you do at Iowa State? And NIL is going to be a problem at Iowa State. I mean, the Big Ten is going to have a bigger advantage. We'll get into the private equity firms that are going to get involved with this, but I would agree with you that I don't know if you can take Iowa State any higher. Not saying that he couldn't compete for a college football playoff or anything like that, but
and he might have a couple of those recruiting years, portal years, where he gets just the right guys to make it work. I don't think he's going to see that happen consistently there, like he'd be able to do it at a Big Ten school.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot right now. It is October 12th, 2025. Is Matt Rhule the head coach at Nebraska next year?
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to agree with you. You got it made.
Yeah.
You got it made. It's a better job. The expectations aren't what they are at Penn State. And Nebraska, if you win 9-10 games a year, most times it's going to if you win 10, that's going to put you in the playoff.
Yeah.
You win 9, that's kind of the standard that Tom Osborne set.
The other thing is I think he's maybe close enough to see what happened with Scott Frost. I mean, the whole going back to your alma mater. I mean, if you're that West Virginia just blanked.
Rich Rodriguez?
Yeah, if you're Rich Rodriguez, biggest mistake he ever made was leaving. And he's doing okay there now. I mean, it's a completely different dynamic.
Well, he's got to rebuild. I mean, they're rebuilding, but you're right. But who wouldn't leave West Virginia for Michigan? If Michigan calls you, you'd be crazy. It's like Kalen DeBoer at Washington. Sure, you got a good thing at Washington, but Alabama calls you. You're like, I may never get this opportunity again.
Yeah, and I think DeBoer actually has. He's had a very good track record.
Starting up at Sioux Falls.
Yeah, I mean, everywhere he's been, he's done very well. So that didn't seem like a big jump in my mind. I mean, I think he's doing fine at Alabama. There was a little rebuild there action at Alabama too, because when Saban left, there was this big little drop in recruiting. Kind of had to get his own style in there. And I think he's doing just fine now. I mean, 3 straight ranked wins for DeBoer at Alabama?
Yeah, because they beat Missouri over the weekend, and that was a good road win.
And so right now, I think everybody's looking at Alabama going, okay, well, all of a sudden they're now back in as a playoff contender again. So I don't think that was a big jump for him. I look at the move trying to go from Nebraska to Penn State, and other than just money, which I think now he can get that at Nebraska.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so I don't think money now is going to be the motivating factor. The question is, hey, did you love it there so much? Is it? And I don't know where Rhule's from originally. I know he's more of an East Coast guy than he is. I think he's a Pennsylvania guy. I thought he was.
Let me go to the Google machine.
So, I mean, is it one of these things where it's like, oh, God, it'd be so nice to be closer to family? If that's the case, well, maybe that plays into it. If it's, hey, I think I got a better chance of winning right away at Penn State than I do at Nebraska, I don't know if that's true.
He was born and raised in New York City.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, I mean, it's a hell of a lot closer to.
You would never know that, though. I know people don't like to say when Scott Frost said he wasn't a good fit. Matt Rhule is a good fit at Nebraska. He is more. He comes off more Midwestern than he does East Coast.
Very much so. Because I mean, we've talked about this with Brian Kelly. at both Notre Dame and especially LSU.
Bad fit at LSU.
Yeah, I even thought he was kind of a questionable fit at Notre Dame, but that's just me. Scott was Frost in hindsight. I mean, you look at him just from a personality standpoint, not a great fit here.
No.
And I'm not trying to bag on Scott when I say that. I'm just saying it's not his cup of tea. He doesn't want to be in a fishbowl. He doesn't want the media scrutiny. He doesn't want that kind of attention on himself. And I think like year one, that cracked him. That broke him.
I think a lot of things cracked him and broke him over his tenure at Nebraska, but we won't dabble in rumor and innuendo. Matt Rhule likes the spotlight. He really does. And
he's good with it.
He is.
I mean, the guys, I mean, it's interesting when you look at Nebraska because Osborne was pretty quiet. I mean, the guy was a stoic. But he was kind of that salt of the earth, Midwestern, Hastings, Nebraska kid that I think it kind of worked. Frost was just a different kind of quiet.
Well, I mean, Frank was quiet to the most part. I love Frank Solich. Frank Solich is a good dude, but he replaced a legend. That was always going to be an impossible thing. Bill Callahan was quirky. He was never a good fit at Nebraska. Bo Pelini fit but didn't fit.
Yeah, he didn't like the media and he didn't like administration. The thing with Bo that still surprises me, I always viewed him as an NFL guy.
Yeah.
I always wondered why he didn't go back to be an NFL D coordinator. He was an NFL guy. I want to coach. I don't want to deal with media and policy people and admin and politics and stuff like that, which you have to do in the college level.
And Mike Riley was a bad fit. That was a weird hire from day one.
Yeah, but he was a good people person. You could put him in front of people.
Being a good people person doesn't make you a great fit for a university or...
I'll get you that. He was too much of a good guy, good people person, and he was not enough of a football guy.
I mean, you got to give Trev Alberts credit here in hiring Matt Rhule. I mean, I think he understood the fit that Matt Rhule was, and I know people don't like Trev because he up and left, but there's other political things that went into that as well. But the truth is, he understood the type of people that need to be at Nebraska, and he set Troy Dannon up for success with Matt Rhule, and that's why
I totally agree.
Yeah.
No, and I actually think again, I'm saying this under the assumption that we hope Rhule becomes a consistent winner at Nebraska. But, in terms of just the personality, God, it works. You put him in front of a crowd, he's great.
Yep. He'll go have a beer with you. He's at restaurants all the time in Lincoln and Omaha.
You see him out at other sporting events, and he's sitting in the middle of the crowd.
And he's not shy to a camera. Now it seems like he's got a camera following him. They were getting on the plane yesterday in Maryland, in a game 3 years ago. Hell, maybe last year they would have lost. And you sent me an interesting text over the weekend, and that was, if you would have told me that Dylan Raiola would throw 3 touchdowns and they'd be down 17 points, and Nebraska would still win.
3 interceptions.
What did I say? I said 3 touchdowns. Yeah. 3 interceptions and spotted Maryland 17 points. There's no way Nebraska wins that game.
Most teams don't win that.
That's
game.
fair.
You have 3 interceptions, all of which they score on. There's 2 touchdowns and a field goal off of 3 interceptions. One of those was a ugly pick 6. You don't win those games. You just don't. Not in this day and age of college football where teams are close enough that if you handicap yourself to that degree, you're not going to win the damn game. You're just not. And go back to, you go back to the Illinois game last year. You go back to the Iowa game last year, the UCLA game last year. There's 3 games where you could pick, just 1 or 2 plays go your way, and you win.
What's the biggest change there? How do you get those plays to go to your way? How do you change a mindset of a team that?
Oh, it's tough.
But it seems to have happened. I mean, so far.
Okay, well, knock on wood. I mean, I think it's happened to a degree here at Nebraska but again, it took 3 years. This is year 3. I mean, last year, that should have been a 9 or 10 win season last year. It really should have. I mean, it's like you look at some of those games, it's just brutal the way we lost. And so I look at what's happening this year and the fact that Raiola can throw 3 picks, which, I mean, God, it was just kind of a sloppy game all over.
It was. It wasn't a pretty game to watch.
It was not. That was not clean football in any way, shape, or form. But, I mean, they're doing some things that are really, really good. I mean, Emmett Johnson I had to go back and look. I thought it was like 176 on the ground.
Yeah, they had a great day rushing.
I mean, when you're moving the ball on the ground, you're going to do some damage. Again, special teams. Again, special teams did some really, really good things that really helped Nebraska out in that game. And so, I mean, thank God for Mike Eckler. I think there's a game changer right there. That is a game-changing hire for the program.
You brought that up last week.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks in a row. You can look at special teams and say, shit, that made a difference. I mean, it really, really did. I'm looking at this game on the whole and I'm thinking, okay, I thought Maryland, I mean, I hate saying it like this because I like Mike Locksley. I think he's a solid coach. His teams generally are kind of fun to watch. He's got a freshman quarterback who I think, was it Malik Washington? I might have screwed.
Yes, Malik Washington.
Okay. I think he's going to be a star.
He was 27 of 37 for 249 yards.
And he had some mistakes. I mean, he made some bad decisions in that game that hurt him. But you got a kid who's going to be a hell of a quarterback. And Maryland's like the only Power 4 school that went after him. So that's one of these things where I really like what Locksley does. And I'm sitting here going like, how did we spot these guys 17 points, all on turnovers, and still win?
Because I think Maryland is where Nebraska was. Maryland could not handle the pressure last week when it lost at home to Washington. Got in a similar situation.
Big comeback.
Washington. And then Nebraska makes the comeback.
Yeah, they're kind of in that mode of where they're still trying to learn how to win a game.
And maybe Nebraska doing this, that flips a switch just in your brain. I mean, you visualize. I know it's crazy. People always say, I was arguing with somebody on X yesterday. They're like, you don't know anything about sports. I really don't, but I do like the psychology of sports, and meaning that.
Right, you don't know anything about sports.
Well, I'm not an X's and O's guy. If you tell me to draw plays, I'm going to be like, whatever. I'm more interested in the sport world, in the dynamics of how people work together as a team, how that all go, how you motivate people, all that's probably my passion when it comes to sports. Always has been, because I've seen great teams that have underperformed and I've seen average teams that have overperformed. What's the difference there, right? That's why I'm fascinated. That's what fascinates me about sports.
Well, look at UCLA.
It's about people. At the end of the day, it is about people. We talk about this.
Somebody else in charge, and all of a sudden, it is a completely different.
Yes. Yeah. And you got the same players. What has changed? The people change. You got rid of a head coach. You got rid of an offensive coordinator. You bring in a different style, and you're like, oh, we're going to play to your strengths. And that's what fascinates me about what flips a switch in a brain. And that's why you look at Nebraska, who's lost so many close games over the years. All of a sudden now winning those close games, is it just one success after another success, and does that trigger something in your brain?
I mean, and Rhule talked about that in his post-game press conference where he touched on the whole getting comfortable in these situations and being fine with it.
It's not going to be the last time they're in that situation. I mean, Nebraska is a good team. It's not a great team.
No, and I totally get that. I'm just, it's one of these, I'm looking at this team right now on the whole in terms of like, where are they in the big picture? there's a lot of 5-1 teams out there.
There are.
There really are. When you look at, I mean, they got ranked 20, so they're 25th.
25th in the AP poll.
The AP poll comes out. I don't know if I care about poll rankings that much anymore for the most part.
You shouldn't. The only poll that matters is the college football playoff poll.
Yeah, 100%.
The only one that matters.
But I look at this and I'm thinking back to last year, and again with our guy Steve, was it Steve on Twitter?
Yeah.
When we're talking about, my guy Steve. When we're talking about this team last year, that's a team that, like, we got to 5 wins and we're like, oh my God, are we going to get this 6th win or not? I mean, that was brutal last year. Thinking it's like, God, this was supposed to be the year this was the easy schedule that we were supposed to get 8 or 9 regular season wins. And now we're struggling just to get to a bowl game, and everybody's got their fingers crossed we can get that 6th win and get there. And now we're sitting at 5-1, and again, I look at our schedule.
You got Minnesota next, followed by Northwestern. Northwestern also. Northwestern's 4-2.
I don't know how to figure them out, because 2 weeks ago we were talking about how not very good that team is.
I mean, it's not at one point I thought this was an easy road, but I'm convinced Nebraska, again, is a good team, not a great team. Minnesota won't be easy because you got to go to Minnesota. You play a night game. Northwestern apparently is not going to be easy. We know USC is not going to be easy.
Northwestern's in Lincoln.
Yeah, it's in Lincoln. And then
they went to Penn State and won.
Yeah, so it's not like they're going to be intimidated by any
whatever that's worth.
USC, then they go to UCLA.
Which USC had a really nice win.
They kicked the shit out of Michigan, man.
That was a nice look. And you know what? It was all on the ground.
It was.
They hammered Michigan with the run game.
UCLA.
I didn't see that one coming.
UCLA all of a sudden is a player. Then you got to go to Penn State. Who knows where Penn State is mentally when you head into that game? Then you end with Iowa.
Yeah, well, in the Penn State thing, like right now, I'm trying to figure out, did they lose just enough off of last year's team to actually not be that good? Or is it truly all mental?
I think it's all mental. They took, it wasn't like the Oregon game was a bad game. I mean, that was
you lost in double overtime to a really, really good team.
I think it could be just one of those things. How do you handle adversity? You lost at home in what was some of the biggest hype for a game this year.
Whiteout game. It was double overtime.
And boom. And that's what fascinates me about sports.
I almost, when I've seen those situations, it almost never hits you twice. It's usually one of those, you have a loss like that. And if you're really a pretty good team, if you're the Penn State team that lost in the semis last year, you're the type of team that, like, okay, you have that tough loss. The following week you have the letdown, and then you're like, oh my God, what the hell happened? We need to wake up, get our asses in gear. Let's get going again. And unless all those players are thinking, well, we're out of the playoffs, that's done.
Either that or they deep down didn't like James Franklin and they quit on him. Just saying.
God, that's tough.
It is tough, but it happens. It happens.
You really think that's a factor?
I do. I absolutely think it's a factor. They quit on him.
Do you think it's because of the kind of person he is, that he's just, the guy's an a-hole?
I think after 12 years and you start recycling stuff in, people just say, we've heard this before. The guy hasn't won a big game. The guy can't beat a top 10 team. And then all of a sudden you lose to UCLA, you lose to Northwestern, and they're just like, we're out. And after losing yesterday, you knew you were done. You knew you were done. There was no way they were going to battle back from that. And then you got Iowa coming up for Penn State, which just shut out Wisconsin. You just end the suffering now. You say you've lost the locker room. Once you've lost the locker room, you're out. You're gone. You can't afford to. How are you gonna build it back? Plus, you just lost your starting quarterback.
Yeah, I guess the thing that I'm looking at is, do you end up with him gone, is it going to be a situation like UCLA, though, where now you've got
odd pause?
No, I'm just thinking, is it going to be like UCLA?
It could.
Now, I mean,
it could.
They hit a reset button. All of a sudden, they become just this holy terror for everybody left on their schedule.
Well, they very could well happen. I mean, if they were to beat Iowa next week, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, if Iowa wins, I'm not going to be surprised. If Penn State were to beat Iowa in Kinnick Stadium at night, I'm not going to be shocked by that, because if I'm the new interim head coach, I'm going to go, hey, here's the deal. You guys are auditioning yourself, because a lot of you are probably going to go in the transfer portal, and go ahead and you better use this as an audition. And I'm going to be out of a job next year too if we don't change this thing around. To me, that's motivation.
Yeah. I get it. That's a good point.
Yeah. Of course, we do want to wish our good buddy Scott Strunk at Husker Hounds happy birthday. He shares the same birthday as my daughter Mary, who turned 24 today. We're recording this on October 12th. Scott turns 60 today.
Just a kid. Looking great. God, the guy's lost a ton of weight. He's kept it off. He looks fabulous, and he runs a great store in Husker Hounds. 2 locations in the Omaha area. Of course, the Superstore over there on 84th and Center. And, of course, basketball's coming up. He's still got volleyball going on. It's going to start getting a little cooler outside for these football games. You're going to want a hoodie. You're going to want a winter coat. You may want to start giving your Christmas decorations on. Hell, Halloween, they may have some spooky Halloween stuff for Huskers. So go to Husker Hounds at 84th and Center, and tell them Rob sent you. Just walk in and say, Dr. Rob sent me, and that you heard about him on the podcast. And of course, you can buy it huskerhounds.com. Did Connor Orr call you over the week? Oh, he did. I got to get back to him.
Yeah, he's got something brewing. He starts talking to me, and he starts talking in legalese. I'm like, dude, I'm not a lawyer. I'm the farthest thing from a lawyer.
I nod my head and just say yes.
Yeah, like it's kind of like when you talk doctor stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about. Lizzie knows exactly what you're talking about. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know what Dr. Rob's talking about. But Connor Orr starts talking legalese. I'm like, this is why I'm going to hire you when I need a lawyer. And if you need a lawyer, you need to get a hold of Connor Orr at the Orr Law Group, orlawgrp.com. That's orlawgrp.com for all your legal needs. There's plenty of lawyers on staff, whether it's litigation, estate planning, you name it. Connor has got you covered, and his team of lawyers has you covered. Again, orlawgrp.com. It's driving his wife nuts, though, because somebody came up to him at one of his kids' games. He's like, are you Connor Orr from the podcast? And he's like, I don't do a podcast. No, Dr. Rob's podcast. And he's like, yeah. And his wife was sitting there, and she was like, I can't believe this. All I said is advertising works.
It's good advertising.
Advertising works. And Connor Orr now recognizable just because he's mentioned here on the Doc Talk podcast.
I love it.
And if you found the podcast on Husker Max, we want to thank David Max and Joe Hudson for all the work that they do. And for several years now, Husker Max has been very kind to distribute this podcast at huskermax.com. So when you need Nebraska news, make sure to go to huskermax.com. Up next for Nebraska is going to be Minnesota. The Gophers had to rally to beat Purdue. But I tell you what, I don't take anything that PJ Fleck does for granted. A lot of people hate PJ Fleck, and I get it, the whole row the boat thing. And I heard this, Rob. I was with Owen was with me. We were down in Phoenix last week, and we were with some people, and we were with a Gopher supporter. And I'm not going to give the guy's name, but his wife works at the university, and he kind of runs thin on people. So if you walk into the football offices at Minnesota, and somebody says, "How's your day going?" What do you say? What do you normally say? Hey, Rob, how's your day going?
You're doing well.
At Minnesota, you are instructed. You have to say it's elite. It's elite. It's like mandated that you give that answer. It can't be, it's going well. Oh, I'm having some tough day. You always have to say it's elite.
That would wear me out.
I believe in positive affirmations. I do.
Now, I tend to be one of these guys where I'm like, rah, kicking ass. I mean, any better, I'd be puking rainbows. I mean, that's kind of my style. I do not expect anybody else around me
to match that,
to step in and match that.
Yeah.
That's fine. You do you. Like the whole, here's what we're going to say collectively. That wears people out. And at some point, it feels fake.
I'm kind of with you on that because let's be honest, you can't be elite every single day. You can't.
Sometimes you have a down day.
100% of the people in your office can't be elite at one time.
Exactly.
Just can't be.
And which, by the way, Minnesota, and I'm not saying this in the sense of, hey, at Nebraska, we're better than Minnesota. I'm just saying big picture. Minnesota's not elite.
It's not. It's
if Nick Saban was like, hey, we're going to say we're elite. Okay, fine. I got a little buy-in there.
Yeah. Only a handful of teams can actually say you're elite.
Yeah. PJ Fleck, not so much. The guy just rubs everybody a little thin. And if it's one of those, if that works for Fleck and if it works for that program, great. But he's a good, solid, okay football coach.
Never lost a bowl game. That's impressive.
It is. And when I say okay, he's like a 7 to 9 win year kind of guy.
Yeah. He's Kirk Ferentz.
Yeah. Although Kirk Ferentz had runs of 10, 11, 12 win seasons.
That's fair.
So I'm not sure I've seen that from Fleck yet. I think he's a guy he's going to get you 7 to 9 a year. They're going to go to a bowl game, probably going to win it. And if Minnesota's happy with that, perfect. That's great. But again, I kind of throw out what Minnesota's done this year thus far in terms of trying to gauge how this game's going to go for Nebraska, only because Minnesota's been a hell of a thorn in Nebraska's side, and it almost doesn't matter if it's Pelini or Riley or Scott or even Rhule. It's just Minnesota's a pain in the ass.
Minnesota needed 14 points in the fourth quarter yesterday to beat Purdue. Purdue had 456 yards of total offense. Minnesota only had 262. Minnesota only ran for 30 yards. 30 yards.
Decidedly not Minnesota-esque.
No. They're usually ground and pound, control the clock.
Yeah, they really are.
They threw the ball like 40 times, and only 2 guys ran the ball. It's shocking.
It is. You look at the power rankings that everybody does. ESPN power rankings have Nebraska with a 75% chance to win the game, which I think is pretty.
It's pretty good. They should win Nebraska should win this game. If we're talking about a Nebraska loss next week, people should be upset because this is a game you should win.
Well, and I think on paper Nebraska should win against Minnesota. They should win against Northwestern. They should, I don't know about Iowa anymore. All of a sudden, Kirk Ferentz has an okay team.
And think about it. They took Indiana. They could have just
20-15.
20-15 could have easily won that game.
Yeah. So it's like at this point, when you talk about the shoulda, coulda, on paper, Nebraska should beat Northwestern. Okay, well, ask Penn State that. So I'm not sure where we rank any of these games. So it's interesting if you wanted to do a really hardcore breakdown, look at the statistics, look at how these teams are doing and do how does Nebraska do here for the rest of the season over the next 6 games? So you've got some big question marks here now. All of a sudden Northwestern's not a gimme. All of a sudden UCLA, 2 weeks ago, we thought UCLA was an instant win.
How many yards rushing on the year do you think Minnesota has?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know.
674 yards.
It's not horrible. It's like for one game they had 30.
Yeah, but it's just so not Minnesota-like. That's the way I look at it, is that usually you have to stop the run with Minnesota. Now you got to stop the pass.
How good a passing team are they?
Yesterday they were good as most of their offense.
It's all their offense. Yeah. They only had 30 on the ground.
Kind of put that in perspective.
Yeah, and I don't think.
I mean, Nebraska has 839 on the ground this year.
Yeah, and I think Nebraska's.
I think Nebraska is a good running team. It's not great, but it's a good. Johnson was terrific yesterday.
Yeah, I think they're making far more. Excuse me. Okay.
We're drawn to a close, folks. Right, the voice is going.
It's going. I mean, I think Nebraska's made a huge improvement in running game. But, I mean, if you look at them as a team, I'm still sitting here going, okay, we live and die on Raiola's arm.
100%.
Which we tried to do everything we could do to die on that arm yesterday.
Well, the emails were coming in saying, when are we going to cut our losses? And I'm like, okay, I've said this about Dylan Raiola, and you and I have disagreed a little bit on this. He's good. He has not lived up to the hype that he came in with. And now it takes time. I get it.
Now we've got a 2-week run of the Michigan State game and this game against Maryland, where all of a sudden you're like, wow, that was kind of sloppy. I mean, he's making some throws that I didn't like him making. All 3 of those picks, all I could think was, yeah, that's when you should have thrown it away. And I mean, and I'm not saying it's all Raiola's fault. Like the pick 6. I mean,
wrong route.
It's not so much that. It's the fact that Gatula kind of gave up gave up a lot of pressure on the play, and Raiola's trying to throw the ball with a guy right in his face. I mean, we're talking physical contact type of positioning between him, the offensive tackle, and the defensive end. And so, I mean, and I like the fact that Nebraska only gave up 1 sack to the team that was leading the Big Ten in sacks. It doesn't mean there wasn't pressure, though. And it doesn't mean that the pressure didn't cause issues, because on that pick 6, the pressure, I think, caused that play. So,
and then he did make a couple throws. You're like, holy crap. That's what, I mean, he had a couple throws yesterday. Like, how'd you even make that throw?
And when he's in position to make those throws, he does make them. But he's also human, and if your offensive tackle lets a guy get in your face, it's going to screw any quarterback up. That's not on Raiola. So, again, has he lived up to the hype? God, that's subjective.
It is, but
I don't necessarily look at some of the issues we're seeing, and yesterday the issues were the 3 interceptions. I don't put all of that on Raiola. Now, if you got a guy in your face like that, maybe take the sack, maybe just, okay, I'm going to try and get this ball to where there's nobody and just get it past the line of scrimmage and throw it away.
Yeah, sometimes you are better off taking the sack than throwing a pick.
Yes.
Matter of fact, every single time you're better off taking the sack than throwing a pick.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather lose the down, punt the ball, and you have a little bit more control over what's happening in that situation. So, I mean, if this was a game where, I mean, if you take away any 2 of those interceptions, I mean, that's everyone scored. So you can take away the one that they got the field goal and one of the ones they scored a touchdown on. There's 10 more points that Maryland does not have. And all of a sudden, everybody's looking at this going, well, that was a pretty comfortable win.
But at the end of the day, we saw it last year, and we'll see it this year. You go, hey, you win ugly, right? Sometimes when you lose ugly. And if ifs and buts were candy and nuts every day, it'd be Christmas.
Yeah, and ugly wins hurt a hell of a lot. Ugly losses hurt a hell of a lot more than ugly wins do. Because we get to the end of the season, if Nebraska's got 9 regular season wins, we're pretty freaking happy.
Very much so. Very much so. You did send me a text yesterday, and it could work out this way. I don't think it does, but you have a strong possibility that you could have that Iowa-Nebraska game at the end of the year where those 2 teams are playing for a playoff spot.
Yeah, although, I mean, I said that. Even I was like,
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean,
if both those teams are playing to be 10-2,
if Nebraska, I don't know if 10-2 gets you in.
They're going to get 4 teams because unless Texas Tech gets beat in the Big 12 championship, I think the Big 12 is only going to get 1 team. I think the ACC is only going to get 1 team. I really, really do. This is going to be SEC and Big 10 heavy, man, and rightfully so.
So, I mean, if we're doing numbers, are you saying 4-4 from the SEC?
Yeah, I am.
So that's 10 teams. Who are the other two coming from?
Well, you'd have one from the ACC. Notre Dame.
Yeah. Well, no, you'd have 4-4 from the SEC and Big Ten, one from the ACC, one from the Big 12, Notre Dame, and then you're going to have whoever group of, which, by the way, ignorance on my part. I keep saying group of 5. Technically, it's group of 4 now, isn't it? Whatevs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think everybody knows what you mean.
Does the group of 4, are they guaranteed a team?
The highest ranked group of 4 team would get one in if they're ranked.
If they are in fact ranked.
If they are in fact ranked, which right now would be UCF or USF, South Florida.
Okay. Which, I got a problem. If you're not, I think you got to come up with a ranking system, which they've got, and the top 12 get in. It doesn't matter where you're from.
Well, if that's the case, here's your top 12 in the AP. And it's probably not going to be that far different from the college football play. Ohio State, Miami, Indiana, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas Tech, Oregon, Georgia, LSU, Tennessee, and Georgia Tech. So you would have 0 Big 12 teams and 2 ACC teams.
Texas Tech.
Oh, Texas Tech. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah. So basically, it'd be the Big 10, SEC. Oh, you got a couple there from the ACC.
Yeah, Georgia
Tech.
They're going to lose. They'll lose because they'll lose to Miami in the ACC title game.
Well, they'll lose a game there.
Does that keep them in the top 12? That'd be the big thing.
That's going to be the question. Well, let's see.
Because Notre Dame's sitting there at 13.
Yeah. It's a good question, but it's also, I think we got 16.
That's never going to happen where you just have a straight up poll, because the Big Ten and the SEC are going to put their foot down and say, we get a guaranteed X, and it's probably going to be 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, because I know your voice is hurting. The Big Ten is getting ready to have an influx of $2 billion from private equity, where they're going to form a new entity, basically, that's going to handle sponsor. They're not going to do the academic side, the scheduling side, all that stuff. They're going to be in charge of, sponsorships, all this other things. I get it. I do. Anytime I hear the words private equity,
where is the money going towards?
It's going to be an influx of cash to all the teams.
Is it directed? Is this going to be to NIL? Is it going to be directed to you can spend this however you want?
To me, it's going to be however you want. But then you have a partnership that's going to continue to deliver on the good. At the end of the day, private equity needs to make its money back. They don't get into the non-for-profit bullshit. They expect a return on investment. $2 billion is a hefty investment. Hefty.
I don't think it's that much.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, do you know what Nebraska's, the Nebraska university system budget is?
It's over. Is it close to $2 billion? Is it over that? The system would be UNMC, UNO, UNK, and UNL. It's probably 3 or 4 billion.
It's over 5.
Over 5 billion. And they're still hurting. They're looking to make cuts.
Yeah. I look at that and I'm like, okay, $2 billion's not that much.
It just shows you how
in this day and age,
much money is out there in the world of college football.
Yeah. So now when I talk about that, I guess what I'm saying is that when you look at when you look at the big dollars, where's it coming from?
Be more specific.
Within college sports.
It's all coming from football.
Well, yeah, but it's like, who's paying the bills? It's TV money.
Yeah.
So what we've seen over the last 25, 30 years is just this massive explosion of TV money. That's not going away, and it's not going to shrink. I think they get that $2 billion. I think that's that's a guarantee. They're making a profit.
Let me use Major League Baseball as an example. Not that they have but you're probably going to have
whatever the payback on that investment is. I don't think anybody's going to have a problem making a profit off of that $2 billion.
What you're going to see is if there's patches on the uniform, if Major League Baseball has Strauss on their helmets, what you're going to see is like every Big Ten team have probably the same logo because there's more value for that for an advertiser, right? Yeah. Like, okay, if I'm going to be on every team in the Big Ten, I'll make that investment. Kind of like State Farm's on every standard of college basketball. Allstate is almost on every field goal net. So there is money behind that. I get a weird feeling when I hear private equity because you hear of hostile takeovers, you hear of all this stuff. I just think when you start inviting a different entity into your world, it changes quite a bit.
But I mean, have these universities not been doing that to some degree? I mean, okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, but
what's a booster?
True, but you don't have to deal with
a booster is an individual private equity investor. Now, in terms of what they're asking for back, there's a lot. It's not a monetary return.
Yeah, that guy wants access. He wants a suite. He wants to meet the coach. He wants wins.
Honest, I'd rather have it be a straight money relationship than that.
You give us $5 million, and maybe in 4 years we're going to make you 20% on top of your money.
Yeah,
no booster would ever do that. Because they do it out of the goodness of their heart.
That's not what they want, though.
They just want wins.
Yeah, they don't.
They want wins.
But I mean, it's like every single booster. You can't tell me that that's not. It's like every single booster is basically a private equity guy,
except without the return on investment, which needs to be wins.
Yeah, which almost seems harder to guarantee.
Well, there are very smart people who run this, and I'm sure they've run the numbers going, well, $2 billion, and you need to make 15-20% on top of that investment. I'm sure they've run the math. I just get a little creepy when it comes to private equity.
And I totally get that because, I mean, we see it in the healthcare world as well, too. It's at the university level, when you look at donors, when you look at people who are giving money to both private as well as public universities, I'm not sure it's all that different other than they're saying, hey, we're going to actually make we want to actually see a return on the investment. And they're doing it in the one arena of American universities that actually tends to make money.
That's fair. I will give you that. But let's say you were purchased by a private equity firm and they said, well, we can't bring on another anesthesiologist or we can't do this and it's going to hurt patient care because patient care should come first no matter what.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we got to make more money. So therefore, you can't hire another nurse anesthetist. You can't hire another, and all of a sudden your patient care suffers. You'd be like, screw this. Yeah, I'm gonna go work in Florida.
Totally get it. Although thus far, what we see, I mean,
were you purchased by private equity?
No, okay. But it's like when I've seen it happen, and it depends on where it's at, because I've seen it happen at places and I've seen it gone south. I've seen it happen at places where it's been a really, really good relationship.
Yeah, it comes down to the people. What is your mission?
Yeah.
What I mean, if you're just doing it to make a buck, then.
But again, I see it at the university level too, where somebody comes in and says, hey, I'm going to make this kind of investment. And again, this is on the booster side. This is on the donor side. But they want to see something, and they all want something in return. They all want something.
Yeah, you don't get involved with something without wanting something in return.
Yeah, they all want something.
That's fair.
And this is a very clear-cut dollars and cents. This is easy to see and easy to understand in my mind. I don't think $2 billion is, I mean, in the big scope of things. I mean, when you look at the TV contracts, I mean, you've got...
They're up there, but the difference is that's negotiable.
You have individual pro athletes with $500 million contracts right now.
Shohei Ohtani, but it's all on deferment. He's going to get that after he's done.
Exactly. Either way, though, I mean, it's either way, it's athletes who are making $500 million. This is only $2 billion. They're going to make that money back. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Again, go to huskerhounds.com or go to the Superstore on 84th and Center, or the one out at Lakeside. They got that one too. I always forget about the one at Lakeside. If you need a lawyer, call Connor Orr. Go to orlawgrp.com. Get your Husker news from huskermax.com. Continue to wear G-Defies.
I got mine on.
Can't go wrong with the G-Defies. For Dr. Rob Zatechka, I'm Travis Justice. We will talk to you next week. Hope you enjoyed it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll be back next week after the Minnesota game on the Husker Doc Talk Podcast.